Good evening. You're watching the news on Croatian television. Prime Minister Andrej Plenković chaired the third session of the Demographic Revitalization Council today. It was announced that government has set aside some €29 million for planned amendments to the Childcare Allowance Act.
Today we agreed on the next step. Along with baby bonuses and parental benefits, we feel that there is a need for additional and even stronger support for families, or better said, good measures aimed at helping young families. As you've probably already guessed, this means amendments to the Childcare Allowance Act.
The amended Childcare Allowance Act would take effect on July 1st, 2018. Based on our simulations conducted in concert with the Institute for Public Finances, the amendments would increase the number of households receiving the allowance by 94,000, or roughly 156,000 children.
Foreign and domestic economists discussed accelerating economic growth through tax regulations at a conference in Zagreb today. Economist Guste Santini said that the high tax burden in Croatia is hurting the economy and proposed a series of changes.
Raise the non-taxable portion of salaries to 5,000 kuna. Reduce income tax brackets from 12, 24 and 36% to 10, 20 and 30%. And raise the minimum monthly salary for the highest income tax bracket to 30,000 kuna.
The trend in the tax system is simplification and finding new ways to increase the tax base while reducing tax rates. That is what we are striving for.
Meanwhile, at a conference on Crony capitalism in Zagreb today, participants said that the Agrokor crisis is an opportunity to establish what went wrong and then move forward. The chair of Parliament's Agrokor Investigative Commission, however, doesn't believe that this will happen, claiming that crony capitalism is too deeply rooted in Croatia.
I am sorry that there is no one here from the parliamentary majority, which, through its selection of witnesses, has commandeered the work of the Commission and shown that they are not interested in uncovering anything.
Another round of negotiations between government representatives and public sector unions was held today. Labor and Pension System Minister Marko Pavić says he expects a collective agreement to be agreed on sometime next week.
We want to be reasonable towards our doctors, professors, teachers, and healthcare and cultural sector workers, so that they know what they can expect and there isn't a panic regarding the application of the collective agreement and their material rights for their November salaries. Today we discussed the workers' commute stipend and finally covered each item within that article. I believe that we are close. On Wednesday we will continue with our talks, and I expect us to find a compromise solution.
23 EU member states, including Croatia, signed a joint defense cooperation pact in Brussels today. The pact on permanent structured cooperation foresees closer ties between EU member states in security and defense. Apart from the UK, Denmark, Portugal, Ireland and Malta have not yet decided whether they will join the pact.
Croatia has decided to contribute to the Permanent Structured Cooperation, or PESCO, which is in our national interests. Through participation in PESCO, we will have the opportunity for even stronger inclusion of Croatia's defense industry and small and mid-sized firms in equipping, developing, and modernization projects within the framework of the EU.
Speaking at a forum on Croatia's development strategy until 2030, Regional Development and EU Funds Minister Gabriela Žalac rejected media reports that Croatia is paying more into the EU than it is drawing in the form of EU funds.
This year we've exceeded the amount of contracted funds, which by the end of the year means some €2.3 billion, and my fellow ministers and I are very proud of this result.
Tourism Minister Gari Capelli opened the 30th Congress of Tourism Sector Workers in Šibenik today. Over the next 3 days, some 500 participants will discuss the results of this year's record-setting tourist season and how to raise the bar for next year. One of the issues discussed today was seasonal employment.
We are looking to find an optimal solution, and I completely agree with you that we definitely have to draw a line in the sand and let the Employment Bureau know that we cannot continue like this. We cannot have 200,000 people registered as unemployed at the Bureau, and at the same time in the tourism sector, when we are looking for 5,000 workers, we can't even find 100.
After being named the best Advent destination in Europe last year, Zagreb City and Tourist Board officials announced today that this year's Advent will be even better. Advent begins on December 2nd and lasts until January 7th.
The official opening will be on December 2nd with the lighting of the Advent candles on the main square. We're especially happy to be reinstating the Advent wreath at Menduševac Fountain, which will most likely be at 5 p.m. We'll be opening the ice park at 6 p.m. and, as is traditional, at 10 minutes to 8, we'll be opening Zrinjevac, where it all began many years ago.
Taking a quick look at sports. In football, Croatia has qualified for the 2018 World Cup in Russia after playing Greece to a scoreless draw last night. Croatia won the first game of their additional qualifications 4-1 in Zagreb on Thursday. The Croatian Football Federation has announced that Zlatko Dalic will continue to lead the team at the World Cup.
It would be crazy to not have him lead the team. I think he has done a phenomenal job in the month that he has been with us.
Moving to tennis and the ATP World Tour Finals, where Croatia's Marin Cilic lost his first match to Alexander Zverev of Germany 6-4, 3-6, 6-4 last night. He plays American Jack Sock next on Tuesday. And now the forecast for tomorrow. Predominantly overcast in the interior with intermittent rain, snow in mountainous regions. Variable cloud cover on the coast with intermittent rain, especially in Dalmatia. The southern coast could see heavier downpours. There will be a strong to gale force northeasterly on the coast, reaching hurricane-forced gusts at the foot of the Velebit mountain. Morning lows of -2 to +4 degrees Celsius inland, 4 on the northern Adriatic and 14 in southern Dalmatia, will give way to highs of 1 to 6 degrees in the interior, 8 to 13 on the coast, up to 15 in southern Dalmatia. The 3-day forecast for the interior calls for light precipitation until Thursday, predominantly dry on Friday. It will remain relatively cold. The coast will see some isolated showers on Wednesday, primarily in Dalmatia. The rest of the week will be predominantly dry and at least partly sunny and warmer. And that wraps up the news. Be sure to join us again tomorrow night.